Are you ready for combat night?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here for the Combat Night Orlando post-fight breakdown. I got the usual suspects here with me, Miles, Ben, the CEO, Mitchell, and it was a fantastic night of fights, and it's nice to start the year in Orlando, which is local now. So get to, well, not for all of us. I know Ben has to make a trip still, but for most of us, it's local. But man, we had a fantastic night of fights last night, and let's get right on into it. Let's start talking about the main event, which was a bantamweight advanced Muay Thai title bout between Matt Baran and Aiden Patrick. Matt picked up the win via split decision over Aiden Patrick, and those boys were squabbling.
Yes, they were throwing down, man. I feel like it really could have went either way. I think it's what the judges were looking for more in that fight. They were both. I'm like Aiden landed the cleaner shots, but Matt Baran stayed in his face, got some nasty dumps. For me, I think it was really just a matter of what the judges were looking for. I think that one could have went either way, but it was a great fight. Both of those guys had pretty big crowds too, so it was nice and loud. Sometimes the main event, people kind of peter out as their fighter wins or loses, and but it was a dope way to end the night. Before we get too far into the actual discussion of each fight, I just want to say, holy shit, last night, just in general, like the fights, the fighters, the fans, the energy in the building, that is the best Beecham I have ever seen as far as like an event in my head, like in my heart. Like it was just amazing. Everything was great. We worked with a lot of new camps and had a lot of new people, involved with us. I had never fought with us before, a lot of new faces. So I wasn't really sure what to expect. And we had some of our bigger camps really not, Jungle had nobody fighting. Fusion had a couple guys fighting, but we also had Charles Johnson fighting in the UFC. So a lot of people flew out to watch Charles Johnson fight and support him. So, the Fusion and the Jungle crowd wasn't really there. And like I said, it's kind of crazy. Biggest event, best energy, hands down for me at the Beecham.
Yeah, it was
definitely cool to see a lot of new faces and fighters. Like a lot of times I look at the card and go, oh yeah, I know that person. Oh yeah, I recognize that. But it was a lot of new faces on the card and a lot of debut people. And then sometimes when you see people making their debut, you think, oh man, it's going to be a boring fight or a wash. But nah.
No, it was great. It was awesome to see so many of the gyms that we haven't really worked with before that maybe, I guess, have never fought for us, and see the kind of talent we're seeing, especially in the early card with some of those younger teens or 18-ish years old. Fantastic stuff coming from some of these smaller areas that maybe wouldn't get the same accolade as some of the more well-known gyms.
Yeah, it was a cool way to start off the year just by having, so many new guys. Our first show of the year, I saw a cool breakdown for the UFC in terms of like explaining like how the organization works and how the tiering of the system is. And it's similar, I should say, for us in terms of like our amateur cards is where new guys get on, more experienced amateurs, develop into, the championship level and then, start looking to make pro, transitions. And so for an amateur card with a bunch of new guys, man, you can't sleep on the new guys because we don't know what to expect. They don't know what to expect. And they come out and they just throw down so hard. And that's what we got last night.
Yeah, and we got a fight of the year candidate in the first card of the year.
Yeah, those guys, insane fight. And we're going to get to that in just a second. We'll go back to talking about the main event, Matt Baran. In his information, he said, he was like a pure Muay Thai fighter, and he even used the term. You know what it was, Ben? Do you recall?
Femur, a technician.
Yeah, and that was what he said he was going to put on display, and he definitely, looked like that. In a razor close fight that at the end, he was like, hey, it was a split decision. If he wants a rematch, I'm down for that. I think, that's worth it. So we'll see if that is in the cards. But,
Yeah, if they do a rematch, can I put my vote in to have it maybe be 5 rounds? I think 5 2-minute rounds. It's not going to add that much extra time
Like,
on the night.
what
If anything, I'll
dictates
rush through the first couple, fights even extra fast, just so those guys can get a 5-round fight.
we've done 5-round fights before. I remember we did a women's title fight and it was 5 rounds. What dictates when a fight is 5 rounds or not?
Honestly, so often those 5-round fights are boring. They put me to sleep. And if you can't get it done in 3 rounds, I honestly have no like desire to see you do it for 5 rounds.
I mean,
Now there are
I can
exceptions.
understand
For example,
circumstantially,
this
like,
fight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are
So,
killers. Both have what, 1 loss total?
yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
Out
I
of
would even
God.
I would even like to see possibly. I mean, yeah, I'm cool to see them in a 5-round fight. But like I said, man, so often we see 5-round
Yeah.
fights, and if you can't get it done in 3 rounds, the likelihood of you getting it done in 5 is not. It's not there. But yeah, this is a fight I would be very excited to see 5 rounds. I would have liked to see 2 more rounds last night.
Oh, they
So
were
is that something that just gets discussed beforehand?
Yes.
Did anybody else have any comments about that main event? Not, I will move on.
Man, Matt Baran made his sweeps look so easy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of part of the show of sweeping guys, but he looked fantastic. But Aiden Patrick was a dog in there. Man, his punching and his elbowing was on point. Baran looked way more beat up at the end of the day, but I understand how it was scored because of what was doing the scoring.
Yep.
It was a hell of a fight. I'm excited to see a rematch.
Our co-main event was Jonathan Exantis and Canyon Smith. Canyon Smith, champ, picked up a unanimous decision, and that was a slugfest between those guys. They both have a. Go ahead, Mitch.
Sorry, Jonathan stepped up on Wednesday afternoon, and the fight moved up from 185 to 205. Canyon had been training for an MMA fight, so both of these guys made a lot of compromise in order to make this fight happen. It was a great fight. Like you said, man, from bell to bell, these guys were throwing down, putting on a show. That was a really fun fight. They had trained together before, and I think sometimes whenever you've trained with a guy before, it just makes for a more exciting fight because you kind of know what each other are going to do, as long as the guys are going after it. I hate it when guys have trained together and then they're just like waiting on each other the whole time, but there was no waiting between either of these guys. And then, in my personal favorite post-fight speech of the year would be Canyon giving out those cookies. The man knows
He
how
needs
to
to come
speak
by
to my
commentary with that.
Yeah, he knows how to speak to the heart, man. I tell you, he got me. And Miles already. I think Miles gonna have a viral reel in the bank eating a cookie off of the floor of the Combatagon.
I mean, 5-second rule. Nobody's ever heard the 5-second rule.
Bruh, did you see the
applies.
bottoms of their feet, dude? You see the bottoms of their feet, bro?
I don't think it applies.
5-second rule.
17 fights of bare foots on 16 at that point, bro. Some of those kids are white as paper, and they get in there, and their feet are black. Dog,
you know what?
Bro, the amount
I've tasted a lot of dirtier things in my life. Okay.
Oh,
Ooh, Miles was nasty in college.
Like we've all been to college here, right? You went to FSU, Mitch. I know you done have
You were at FSU? Damn.
See if Brandy's watching this.
So we'll move on. The bout before that, flyweight bout, Javier Lugo and Ernesto Lebain. Man, Javier, he came in looking sharp. He came in at 5-1. Ernesto's 1-1, so an experience advantage. But Ernesto held his own and definitely was thugging it out. In the first round, there was a incredibly tight rear naked choke that he survived and was able to escape, and the fight ended up going all 3 rounds. But Javier just had a sharp skill set that he put on display.
Man, Lugo looked impressive. He looked very good. His right hand landed like 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
He was ferocious on the feet. His entries into his wrestling were so smooth, and his top control was awesome. His ground and pound. He he showed a really, really strong all around display. I didn't realize at the time that Ernesto had only had 2 fights. That definitely tells a bit of the tale. But he put up a hell of a scrap himself. He survived deep. Man, he looked good at times. He took top position. He put in some submission threats. But Lugo was just 2 steps ahead the whole time.
Yeah, I definitely think Ernesto is going to learn a lot from this. Like you mentioned before, like, that first round with that rear naked choke. So, like, sometimes it's good to, especially as amateur, he's young, it's an amateur fight. So, you put in deep waters, you didn't get finished. So I'm definitely sure that him and those coaches over that Fusion, he's going to learn, a lot from this.
Yeah, I think this fight really came down to fight IQ. That was a big one. Divier looked really good, really smart. He got positions and held on to them. He scrambled only enough to get to where he needed to be, where I felt like Ernesto over scrambled. I believe in the second round, he got side control, a really solid side control. And instead of just holding him there and applying shoulder pressure and kind of, instead of trying to make Divier make a mistake, he tried to make something happen, and then it opened up another scramble. That first round scramble was so crazy, and Ernesto was holding on to Divier's leg for almost the whole 40 seconds as they scrambled around and did all this crazy stuff. And then Divier got his back and put a choke in right after probably a hard 30 to 45 second scramble, and then put in a deep choke. I think that sucked the life out of Ernesto. That just, from then on, it was like he was just trying to make sure he survived. And he felt like he was behind. So he can't, I think, especially younger guys not understanding when you need to stop trying to scramble and when you need to just, hey, buckle down, get a good breath here, make them suffer for a little bit. And Divier looked very, very posed and smart. And he called out, Lucas Smith is fighting for the belt here in Tallahassee on the 14th against Davion Hutau. Both these guys are undefeated. He called out Lucas, but Davion's fighting for that belt, so it could be Davion or Lucas. I'd like to see either one of them fight. Divier next. It looks very good.
Did Ernesto ask for this fight?
Yes, Ernesto has just as much experience training time as Divier. He just took off a long time from actually competing. So he wanted, he wanted a tough fight. He's wanting to go pro fairly fast. So he's trying to put himself in the fire and, see where the chips fall. He doesn't want to wait, 2 years and he wants to get in there and get after it.
Reasonable.
Yeah, and I know in discussions that we've had with him, both when we had him in the studio on the podcast and in person, he's talked about some of his training, his ideas behind training, and how he doesn't mind fighting guys that he's trained with, and that's just kind of the mentality. He was like, it's whoever, whatever, and he was, excited about facing a guy that had experience and facing that challenge. Prior to that, we had a welterweight bout between Julian Castillo and Justin Segarra, a couple of guys that were 4-0, and this was the aforementioned, potential fight of the year that we had on the first card of the year. And offline, we talked about it just a little bit, just acknowledging that was like a pro fight, and not just a pro fight. That was like a good pro fight between those guys.
Yeah, this was also two fighters with the first time, that they've ever fought with us before. And Julian from the Top Brother USA, and then Justin, he came from Hawaii and he trained as he's over here in Orlando, trained over there at Fusion. But this is nothing with people, their first time fighting, for us. I feel as though we're getting a lot of the best of the best, essentially from around Florida, even now, from across the country, because people know Combat Night. Oh yeah, I've seen him on Instagram. Oh yeah, I have a friend who fought all that, or this guy that's in UFC, he fought for Combat Night. So I think that just pulls the top talent. We're not getting, it's been a minute since I've seen a boring fight in the Combat Night. And both of these two guys, I can't wait till they turn pro. I know Justin said he's gonna go up to 185 when he eventually wants to turn pro soon. So can't wait to see him make that jump.
I mean, he was asking for that pro debut in the cage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mitchell turned out to be this was welterweight, right? What's going on?
Crazy he flew from Hawaii on Wednesday across multiple time zones, and then made weight at 170, and now he wants to go to 185. it's like we might. I mean, if you did all that, that's hard to do, and he did it. Made weight, no problem. He looked good. Went for 3 hard rounds. That was a hard fight for both guys. Took a spinning elbow to the side of the dome, and was ready to go. And like, I mean, it was literally like 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I asked the ref. I said, "Yo, did you give him his 5?" And he said, "I tried to." He said, "Let's go." Um, so I mean, I'm not him, and it's his career, and his coaches will just figure that out. But I think 170 was really good because obviously, if you can take a spinning elbow like that and keep on trucking, the weight cut had to be good. So 15 pounds is a big difference. Going from 170 to 185 is one of those big weight gaps. But he got a big frame too. The boy is big. For me, the craziest moment of that entire fight, all of it was crazy, but Justin knocked out the mouthpiece of Castillo, went flying out, and Castillo didn't hesitate to come right at him, throwing some bombs to try to like knock him out. Like he was almost wanting to get his get back after his mouthpiece going flying out, and then Justin throws a head kick, boom, like sends him over to the side, and there was I couldn't believe the level of that fight. I really do think both those guys are going to have real successful pro careers. I can't wait to have both of them back. The crowd was really into that fight, not just because of how amazing it was. They both had great followings there at the event as well. For me, I don't believe I'm going to see a fight better than that this year for amateurs. I think that's
it was
that's
insane.
Yeah, that was what.
Ramsey and I were in the booth just like screaming at each other, like, "What is going on?" It was crazy. The first round was like some of the most action I've seen, not let alone a round, in a fight. In I couldn't tell you how long.
Yeah, those guys look
It was
good.
nonstop.
And I'm sure we'll have highlights from that. So if you're not, make sure you're following us on Instagram, and we'll have those fights posted here in the coming weeks. Going to be a lot of fights getting posted as we come through these events as we kick the year off. But go give us a follow there on Instagram if you want to check out those highlights. Prior to that, we had a lightweight bout between Jamison Hardesty and Sang-Yoon Jung. Some more guys, making trips to fight at Combat Night. Jamison picked up the win in a second round TKO. And this is another one that was kind of like all gas, no brakes, where Jung was just throwing heat, and so was Hardesty. And
he was just looking for the knockout.
Yeah, the whole time. Go ahead, Miles.
No, so yeah, it just seemed like Jamison was a little bit more, had just a little bit more on the game plan of like, trying to take things down, but then also to utilize his hands, especially that's how he ended up finishing it, right? So to me, it seemed like he was more rounded. The first, first 2 rounds, essentially, he was like trying to get things down to the ground, But then when he noticed, like, always talking about that fight IQ, he noticed, oh, this guy's dog tired. His hands are low. So then that's when he just was able to finish him off with his hands. And there's really nothing that Sung-Yoon really could do at that point. He was just so gassed. He couldn't even keep his hands up. He couldn't block or defend anything, essentially. Like,
Miles, of all the names you can't pronounce, how is it that you are throwing Sang-Yoon out there so smooth?
Sang-Yoon.
Strong. Jameson
is he Korean?
Yeah, South Korean.
Yeah,
obviously. Sang-Yoon, that very final flurry, I saw, it was really cool to see the IQ of really Jameson the entire fight. He was very smart. I want to say in the beginning he got rocked, correct? He got dropped?
Yeah.
He was smart. And in there, like you said, a lot of guys who had so much success in the grappling might have just taken him down in the moment, because he was throwing like literally like just throwing overhand against the fence. And instead he stayed really tight and he just straight shots. He didn't throw, they weren't hard. They weren't real heavy, but they were landing. They were very accurate. And he just, like you said, he ran, Sang-Hoon ran out of gas, and, Jim's got the TKO. It was a beautiful way to see the fight in there, because like you said, it was just go the entire time. But the IQ was really nice. And Jameson came down from South Carolina, correct? I think.
Mm-hmm. Jameson, yeah, Carolina Kickboxing Academy.
Yep. Excited to see those out. Again, a lot of new camps that we worked with on this one. I'm really excited to see, us have those guys back as well.
All right. And prior to that, we had a fight at featherweight. I know Coach Ben's eager to talk about this one. Kurt Decker Jr. and Tannehill Giovanni Jean. Kurt Decker picked up the win first round
Yes, sir.
after surviving a tight rear naked. But as soon as he got out of that was, I mean, it was pretty much a wrap. Go ahead and start, Ben.
Let me tell you, first of all, the game plan did not involve shooting. Okay. I viewed the striking difference as like an 80-20. There's no reason to go anywhere else. You know, I don't know what he felt the need, the desire, saw the opening. He went for the shot. And crazily enough, Tannehill basically did to him exactly what we were game planning to do when Tannehill went to shoot. You know, push the head, cut the corner, take the back, etc. I was in a hard spot. I couldn't see anything for my position. All we could see was like back and shoulders. We couldn't see where the hands were. I had to use the TV for it. But Kurt is an extremely good grappler. In post, he said that nothing was close. Tannehill just had like a shoulder, but was never like on the neck. But he was digging. You know, he could have got there if Kurt wasn't so diligent. But Kurt busted his butt. He got out of there as soon as he got some space. And the second Tannehill came up, that Marcellatine was on. And it was strong finish, good highlight on the finish, but he could have really like put on a show if he wanted to. But hey, I can't hate. Kid looked really good. You know, when he pulled the trigger, he was doing fantastic.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Kurt's grappling. I was, you know, again, we haven't seen his grappling. That was the first time. So whenever you're 2 seconds into the fight and he got his back take, you're like, oh shit, okay, well, this is his hole. This is his gaping hole.
You ain't the only one.
Yeah, so it was cool to see him deal with that adversity, because Kurt also hasn't really had any adversity, I feel like, in his fight career yet, at least what I've seen. So it was cool to see him deal with that adversity and then get the victory as well. It felt even better to get his little ass back on the handshake. I don't know if you missed, you might have missed it, Ben. But no, I hit him with the.
Oh, did you?
I got it. Yeah, I got his ass back.
Oh, good job.
Unk got him.
Yeah, so that was a great performance from Kurt, and he's someone that we had been anticipating seeing make that transition into MMA. I know he just turned 18.
Man, he's been chomping at the bit. If y'all had a show December 19th, he'd have been on it.
He's going to on a cruise right now.
Yeah, he's leaving next Saturday. I already talked to him. I was like, "Hey, dog, like you cut." So maybe it's his age. This kid went from 143 to 155 to 157 to 153 over the course of like 4 days. Like, that's why we took it at 145, because he was like 157. But he woke up on weigh-in day 145, didn't cut a pound. He was eating pancakes 2 days before. Like how does your weight, dude? How's your weight fluctuate like that? Yeah, I guess.
Did he actually eat the pizzas and post something? I was like, guess who's not making weight? Sorry, Combat Night.
Dude, okay, you guys have had Billy fight for you before. You have never seen a man eat like Billy Keane eats. Dog, they went to IHOP. This man ate 7 pancakes, 2 orders of crepes, French toast on the side, biscuits and gravy. Like, no protein. Absolutely massive. I don't understand how he does it. It's impressive. And Kurt's hanging out with him, so it's going to be a problem.
All right. Prior to that, we had a featherweight bout between Walter Mitchell and Gabriel Camilo. Gabriel picked up the win via unanimous decision. Thoughts?
Gabriel's going to be a problem, man. Guy's a stud. I really enjoyed that fight. He fought for us, I think in October, and ended up in some really big trouble pretty early on. And so you never really know what to expect whenever the guy he fought was kind of had an upside down record. So I'm sitting here thinking like, man, this, maybe he's got it, maybe he doesn't. He's been training his whole life. And Walter Mitchell fought for us a long time ago against Garrett Nelson. He submitted him with a really nasty guillotine. I think he popped a rib during the guillotine. It was like the Armin guillotine, but on arm in and head was on the side. Like it wasn't like a traditional arm in. It was like all the way, almost like an anaconda arm in. So we knew Walter Mitchell was really crafty with fight me, but Gabriel Camilo just came in, showed out, man. I'm acting. He said he's ready to fight again. He's like, yo, I want to fight in Fort Lauderdale. So an opportunity just opened up in Fort Lauderdale. So I will be hitting up his camp and him and his dad and see if they want to hop on that card and take another fight. So we'll see if he's really game, if he's really being serious about that, wanting to fight in Fort Lauderdale.
Prior to that, we had a welterweight Muay Thai bout between Douglas Bigler and Adam Bale. Bigler picked up the win via unanimous decision. And that was another rock'em sock'em.
Yeah, that was another dog for you.
Yeah. Tampa Muay Thai, man, they showed up and really showed out with us. And I feel like that guy had a chip on his shoulder, man. Douglas, I think Adam Valle did not do the glove touch, if I remember correctly. He hit him off the glove touch or something, but
yeah.
Douglas was pissed, bro. He was mad. Like he fought like a man on fire. Really showed out. I think he said he was Puerto Rican. I did not see that coming with a name like Douglas Bigler. In his post fight interview, but that was a great fight, man. Back and forth. Really heavy shots landed. Like I said, the Tampa Muay Thai guys really showed out. Another camp, we've had him with us before, but it's been a minute. So it's kind of like, in my opinion, a new camp. A lot of new guys out of their camp fighting with us, but it was a great fight.
Oh, a shout out to Doug's dad, who's in the comments. He said he's a proud dad.
Is Bigler Puerto Rican, or is the mom's side? Is the mom's side of Puerto Rican? I'm curious. I didn't see that name as being a Puerto Rican name. We'll have to get that later in the comments.
Prior to that, we had a catchweight bout.
Maybe.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, maybe he just really likes Puerto Rican girls. He's trying to just put it out in the universe.
Yeah, he said
it's a reasonable thing to do. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Prior to that, we had a catchweight bout between Denton Spencer and Trey Andrews. Spencer picked up the win via TKO in round 1, and he was a tank.
Oh, that was the short, big, thick dude. I was like, how much do you bet? She was like, 333. I was like, you look like it, dude. Like,
yeah, I think he said 340. Like you said,
I was like,
look like you bench over 3, or you look like you bench 300, and he corrected you. Like, nah, bro, that's 340. He was he wrestled in college at Virginia. Had a pretty solid career wrestling. Now he's wanting to transition into MMA. Yeah, man, he's a tank. He was just a force to reckon with. I saw him hitting mitts in the back, and man, he didn't show any of his striking. But he's with a gym called Brunswick Boxing, so he's got really good boxing, and his entries were next level. I saw him hitting 6 or 7 punch combos into the takedown, and he was profusely sweating. Like I kind of just stopped what I was doing and watched him warm up for like 5 minutes, and I was like, bro, this dude's gas tank must be ridiculous, because he's hitting a session of mitts right now that I would think someone would be doing like 2 weeks before their fight. It was just next level energy and
you got that
volume. Yes.
So
Yeah, he was 5'3" at 160, and it was chest
Good
and
Lord.
shoulders and legs.
Yes. Little Geo dude.
Yeah. Prior to that, we had a featherweight bout between Arande Smith and Logan Atkins. Logan Atkins picked up the majority decision. He's at a full spectrum.
Yeah, I've been able to train with Logan a little bit. He cross-trains for Fusion. This is one of my fights I was most excited to watch after weigh-ins. Logan was very stoic, had not much to say, didn't react to Arande's antics. I liked Arande. He had a lot of funny moments. He did the I show speed, I show knockouts. Although he showed a takedown right when the fight started. I knew he had high-level wrestling, solid grappling. But man, Logan, whether that first round was very smart, didn't waste a lot of energy to make sure he didn't get put in bad positions. And then he really put it on him in the second and third round. He got a point taken in the third round for trash talk. You know, there was a lot of trash talk back and forth when Logan had full mount on him, and they were like, Timmy got it all on camera. There'll be a reel coming out for sure. But at some point, Logan said he was in full mount, and he was like, "I'll F your face," and started humping.
Oh, that
And the
was
ref
what the
was
point
like,
was
nah.
taken
Legal.
away from?
It's legal.
I didn't know what the point was taken away from.
Well, it's, you know, there's a bit of unsportsmanlike with the ref kind of. I think that's the as far as calls are concerned, you know, a lot of calls are at discretion of the referee, and the referee felt like that was unsportsmanlike to do that. I don't think he realized, you know, obviously it doesn't matter what happened. Anything before that bell rang, doesn't matter how much trash was talked, what was said, what was done before that bell was rang. What matters is what happens inside of the cage. And while there was talking back and forth, I think the actual humping of a man's face was a little bit too much for the ref at that point, and saying "I'll F your face." But I agree. I don't think a point should have been taken.
I mean, this is a statement of, you know, don't talk about it, be about it. You just do it.
Yeah.
If he didn't say it, the ref never would have thought about it.
Yeah.
Or say it in post. Do it and then be like, I just did that. And the ref, like, you kind of passed the action.
Yeah. And Logan kept saying afterward, he was very mad that the point got taken, and he was like, he was talking all the shit he talked before the fight, you know, and it's like, yeah, great learning experience. To realize like the ref's not watching the pre-fight stuff. You know, the ref doesn't know who missed weight. You know, the ref, all these things don't matter. Anything that happens before the fight starts.
No one cares how you feel.
Yep.
And Arande had like huge energy in the first round. Like he came out flying all over the place. And like you said, it just kind of like as that energy wore out, and Logan had a more measured approach to the bout, he was able to just kind of grind him out.
Yeah, I mean, Logan looks so super poised, man. I've never had a chance to train with him. I've seen him come through Fusion quite a few times. He's usually there a lot in the morning, and haven't had a chance to train with him. But man, he looked good. He looked very smart, technical. His striking was very good. His takedown defense, his grappling, like very well rounded, especially for only being 2-1. You know, the guys out there at Full Spectrum, man, they're doing something right. Another camp, like, you know, we've had maybe a guy or two fight here and there, but we had a couple guys, Divier's from there as well. We had a couple guys fighting out of there. I'm real excited to start working with that camp a lot more. I think that they're going to have some really some high level guys competing with us in the future. I can't wait.
And prior to that, we had a bantamweight Muay Thai bout between Free Rain Gowan and Tanisha Pierre. Tanisha Pierre just was came out there a ball of fire. Yeah, and Free looked a little tentative in that, and yeah, she just got steamrolled.
You could tell sometimes on the walkout. You don't want to like judge a fighter, but sometimes you could tell that, okay, by the walkout, like sometimes the fighters that's what they used to say about, you know, Tyson. He would beat somebody before you even step in there. Just the walkout alone, when you saw the way Free entered versus the way Tanisha, you're like, I feel sorry for this little girl.
Man, Ramsey and I were talking about it on the mic. Free should be at the PKBs. Like, you should not be touching the competition floor for the first time in the Combatagon. It's not safe for you. You know? Like, she's 17. There's no rush. Take her through the process. Take your time. Taking someone and throwing them into full contact with a short experience level or of training it's not beneficial. Take the right path. It's a little slower, but it does a great job.
Yeah, I really wish that honestly, I wish she'd have got the second round. I feel like she weathered the storm. Yeah, she could have definitely done some PKBs beforehand. I agree with you, Ben. But I think she weathered the storm pretty well. It was like she got overwhelmed in a lot of those moments. But I think Tanisha was gassed. She looks very tired coming into that round, and the round was ending as the fight ended. I wish they would have given her that, you know, at least the beginning of the second round. It wasn't like she was getting dropped. She was getting overwhelmed, and that those were the 8 counts. So I wish they would have given her the second round to have a chance to talk to her coach and, like, her coach maybe motivate her and get her going. But at the same time, we're dealing with a 17-year-old here, so I'm not upset at all with the decision. I think it's live to fight another day. But yeah, I'm excited to see Tanisha back in there. I know she's just kind of doing it to have fun, here and there, but that tenacity that she brought to the cage, I love seeing it.
Yeah, and prior to that, we had a lightweight Muay Thai bout between Tyler Reinhardt and Bhima Bhagawanta. That was another fantastic firefight, and they were slugging it out to the very bitter end of the rounds, every single time, and Bhima looked really good.
Yeah, Tyler's fought with us quite a few. Go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I called out the ref for a bad knockdown, but when we watched the replay, Bagawanta was just touching Reinhardt. I thought he hit like a cheeky foot slip, like hit him and then tripped him and made it look like a knockdown, but it was super duper legit. Reinhardt was throwing ferocious bombs, but Bagawanta was just killing him with the body kicks. Just set up all the rest of the headshots that did the big work.
Yeah, that was another Tampa Muay Thai guy, man. Like I said, they really showed up, and he was fighting a ruckus guy. And I think both of those camps are just, man, they're killers on their feet. That looked really good. It was a great fight. I enjoyed watching it. Tyler's fought with us quite a few times. We know that he is he's ruthless inside of the Combatagon. He does not care. He had one opponent one time who just kind of quit because his knee got tweaked, and he was pissed. He was like, nah. He's like, I want to finish you. And was really, really mad that his opponent just quit. But yeah, I think that was a great back and forth war. I really enjoyed it. Again, the Ruckus and the Tampa Muay Thai guys bring a different type of fight inside of the Combatagon. You're there. They don't like you. They're there to really hurt you and try to put you out. And I thought too, man, I got to go back and watch the fight. Obviously, you guys got to see the replay. But I thought it was a slip, and Tyler was very convincing, saying that it was a slip and that he didn't get dropped. Yeah. But yeah, it was a great fight. Probably make a great reel to see what the fans think.
And moving on, we had a featherweight bout before that between Evan Mason and Brent Kent. Brent Kent picked up the win via unanimous decision.
Brent Kent was on him. I've never seen Brent wrestle like that. He was on Mason big time. Mason had a really dangerous anaconda. It was fully in, but he was playing his angles really weird, or Kent just used the fence to his advantage and smashed his way out of it. He didn't look panicked at all, so he had to have room to breathe. But Kent with the pressure the whole time. Really, really strong display by Brent.
Yeah, I think, Mason's got really long arms. Mason's got really long arms. And I feel like, I know sometimes the anacondas and darces and those front headlock series chokes can be a little harder to get the finish, especially Brent is also kind of a skinnier dude, a lanky guy. I think if Brent was a little bulkier, I think that's putting him to sleep. But like you said, he was really smart, playing the angles right, making sure that he was safe. And then after that for initial attempt, I feel like maybe Evan was a little too comfortable on his back. You got to work to get up. At the end of the day, it's cool that you got good jiu-jitsu and stuff, but if it's MMA, so you got to make sure you're winning in those refs' eyes, the judges' eyes.
Yeah, I was a guard player when I started fighting. It is a bad idea.
Yeah,
do not play bottom in MMA. You should be good at it, but it should be a last resort. It's a C-class area to be.
And prior to that, we had a featherweight bout at Muay Thai between Trey Demps and Quentin Soto Fernandez. Trey Demps with the highlight reel knockout.
Yo.
That was nasty.
Yeah,
mouthpiece popped out and landed on the shoulder.
It was like a flash knockout where he was knocked out. fell, hit the ground, mouthpiece fell on his chest, and then it kind of like an Undertaker shot up.
Yes.
Like, but and then
It was
wanted to
not
get up.
nearly as clear as the Undertaker.
Wait, he
That was
didn't
a
sit all the
zombie
way up.
digging
Just his
himself
head
out of a grave,
popped.
Yeah.
bro.
That was a
was
brutal,
that boy was
great
on
fight.
vacation mentally.
Yeah, great fight. I mean, again, that was a shoot box versus again a Tampa Muay Thai guy. Ruckus guy. I'm sorry. Trey Dims out of Ruckus. I said those boys always come to fight, and shoot the box is Aiden's camp in the main event. The guy was fighting Matt Barron, and man, it was a great fight. And then, he threw a naked low kick, and Trey responded with a naked high kick. And it's like, man, if you're gonna both throw a naked kick at the same time, be the guy who's throwing the naked high kick.
I was seeing if I could pull that up because that one.
Yeah, we got it on the. That was one of the ones they made a reel out of last night.
Oh, did they post it?
Yeah, they posted it.
Okay, well, go check us out on Instagram if you want to see that highlight. It is ready. Prior to that, we had a bantamweight kickboxing bout, Ramon Delgado and Aiden Teramato. Both of those guys making their debut, and as was the theme for the whole night, there just wasn't any disappointing fights at all. They were throwing down.
Man, Delgado was rough and tumble. He came out so damn hard that there was no way he could keep that up for 3 rounds. Yeah. Every single thing he threw had everything he had on it. And the first 2 minutes, I was like, oh, man, Teramato is going to get murdered. But then Teramato dealt with it, came out in the second, chilling, and went to work. Delgado blew 80% of his wad in the first round and though he had moments of flare and flash, he only had 1 or 2 shots after that. All those big combinations were gone. If he could, manage his gas, he'd be super dangerous. He was really, really nasty in there, but he's got to be able to keep it up for longer.
Yeah, I think that, that was the kind of the story for a couple of guys. It's like, if you're going to set a pace, and you also kind of got to like acknowledge what your opponent's doing. If your opponent's being smart, conserving energy, and you're going all out and everything's not landing, or you're not, there's moments when you do that, in a fight. It's like that's why Tabatas are so good, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off to train your cardio. But if you just go a minute on and your opponent was blocking, being smart, moving and managing their energy, well, now it's their turn to go on. And do you have the energy to defend yourself? I think Orlando was another one of those examples where just doing too much, you got to be smart and don't waste your energy, because especially if your opponent's not wasting theirs, if you realize, oh, they're just being smart here and they're just defending, they're not taking damage. You don't, it could be, it sets you up for a really bad finish. But yeah, Aiden looks really good and composed. Was that his first fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looked really clean, man. When he started executing, he looked real clean.
Yeah, I think that was both of their debuts, and they're only 19 years old. So this just talks about all the young talent that's continuing to come through Florida.
Yeah, something that was working for him really well in that fight was, and he was able to get a little like a single hand clinch, and he was throwing like an upper and an over, and he got the finish in the second round. And it was with that exact technique. So correct me if I'm wrong. That was a kickboxing rule fight. So what does that classify? That clinch punching from there?
So if I remember correctly, when we're talking like K1 Glory, you can catch and you can tie and you can strike a single time or release. So like things have adjusted. Like old school K1 was supposed to be 1 strike release as a kickboxing rule, but it's evolved in like say Glory, which would be, I guess, the premier kickboxing league.
Yeah.
You can clinch. They'll allow you 5 seconds, but if you stay really active, they'll let you stretch. They're less lenient than the ties, but apparently they'll let you work. But when you book a K1 rules fight, it's supposed to be catch, strike, release. Catch, knee, release at a maximum.
Yeah, I don't know how, I know that The it's like a half clinch, right? Like there's a half clinch and a full clinch. I'm not really sure how that works with us, to be honest with you. The sanctioning body would be a better resource on that.
Yeah. He did release going into the hook, if I remember right. He didn't even pull the head down. He just hit the body and then turned it over on the right hook.
On the finish itself, it was like face. Both of them were face, beam, and it was using that technique multiple times. It wasn't ever more than 2 strikes, but he catch him, bing, bing, and then let go, and then get him with
Great
it again.
combo.
And it was just devastating.
Yeah.
And then our first bout of the evening was a bantamweight bout kickboxing bout between Brandon Martinez and Devin Davis. Devin Davis taking home the win, taking his record to 2-0. And he's out of Dark Wolf. We started the night with a fantastic fight. It was out of the gates. 2026 started cracking.
Real clean. I only caught like halfway through the second and the third round, but Martinez is a dog. He likes to get in the pocket. He likes to make it dirty. His hand combinations were really clean, and when he threw kicks, they landed well. But Davis was like the total package. He was really dangerous at range. He could snap up those roundhouses super fast. His knees were clean. His plum clinch was very nice, and he could execute on his hands and set it up. He used decent footwork. He used pretty good feints. He's 19 years old. He's now 2-0. Whatever they're doing with him at Dark Wolf, keep doing it. He looks really, really good.
And that was the kickoff for Combat Night season. I never really looked at it as us running seasons. I felt like we just kind of run events all year round. But after having like that 2-month break, it's like, no, this does feel like the start of a new season. And Orlando showed out.
Yeah. I don't know that I honestly, for me, and thinking about all the events we had last year, like this would have been the amateur event of the year. Had it happened in 2025.
It still might be.
Yeah, and that would have been the pro. That would have been the amateur fight of the year for last year. So to come out running and gunning like this in 2026, I'm really looking forward. Fort Lauderdale, we have some crazy fights. One of Ben's students, Corey Went, will be fighting as well, and he's got a tough matchup ahead of him and Omar Ferris out of the MMA Science. Like that's going to be 2 young guns again fighting each other. I can't wait to watch it. A lot of really good fights in Fort Lauderdale and Tallahassee, man. The first pro card of the year on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Dumb fights. We just got ridiculous fights up there in Tallahassee. It's really cool to see the talent just grow across the state of Florida. Again, so I think the last 5 or 6 fights last night could have all been professional fights.
Without a doubt. Yeah. No question. I'm bummed I'm going to miss the Tallahassee show. They're always really, really good. The strong talent up north. But it is Valentine's Day, and I have a parents' night out event, so that is not happening.
I got to make that money. It's good,
yes, sir.
Good money-making day. I'm glad you said that and not that you had to go on a date. I'm like, Ben, how long you been married, bro? It don't matter. Valentine's Day is
6 years.
Yeah, but yeah, for the parents' night out, it's really great.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, I got a date to a wedding, so.
Someone's getting married on Valentine's Day. What
Lucas, Combat Night OG Lucas LaRue is getting married on Valentine's Day.
What? I mean, he's trying to not forget his anniversary. That's what he's doing. He's trying to set himself up for success.
It's 2 birds with 1 stone. Like,
yeah, smart man.
So, if we're keeping score right now, Fort Lauderdale needs to show up next week, Ben, or else.
Bro, that's no question. Fort Lauderdale, #1 amateur fight.
Orlando. Like I don't have.
There's a big card to try and beat.
People at this point know Orlando is where it's at.
Like, Orlando, get out of here with that.
Like,
Broward County, baby, #1.
We got pros and we got amateurs.
I gotta be honest. If I'm being honest here, when it comes to just amateur, it is Fort Lauderdale, and for me. But Orlando might have just stole that title because
that show was amazing.
Insane. But a lot of the guys, Miles also, a lot of the guys fighting on the card that were showing out weren't from Orlando.
Well, everybody wants to come to Orlando. It's the gravity pull.
The Fort Lauderdale guys are from Fort Lauderdale that are doing this. They're from South Florida that are doing this.
It's the gravity that Orlando is able to pull. Like,
It's
and
because it's the center of the state. It's
but I mean, if you look at
easiest
it,
for
this
everyone to
taxed
get
out
to.
Tallahassee card that's coming up, there's a lot of Orlando guys. You got Brian, Make Money Not Friends, fighting on that. You got Tim, the
that's
car
great.
wash man. He's fighting on that. So, you know, Orlando people, we fight all over the state. The Fort Lauderdale dudes, they're like, oh, I don't want to travel. I don't want to go too
Bruh,
far.
It is
Orlando,
a
we go
6-hour
wherever.
drive to Tallahassee.
We go wherever. Orlando, we don't
Right.
care.
Yeah,
No,
everything's less than
Tallahassee
4
definitely
hours
gets to Tallahassee definitely gets to reap the benefits of the wealth of the state
Yes.
on those shows up there.
Are
Jacksonville
we gonna
and
do more
Orlando
pros?
fighters. So I would say
Sorry.
Jacksonville and Orlando fighters travel very well. A lot of those guys that were fighting last night in Orlando were from Jacksonville, in the Ruckus Muay Thai crew, put on a lot of really good fights. So Jacksonville and Orlando, they travel really well.
Yeah. I know there was a couple of years where you were telling me that I was the only guy from the South that would go to the other cities with my guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to
see-
get your guys on the road. If they're going to be successful, they're going to be on the road.
Got
Get them
to.
used to that.
Got to. Especially if the goal is UFC. Like, you're gonna have to travel, and you're gonna have to sleep in a hotel room. You're gonna have to figure out how to cut weight. All these little details matter. So
Eat. You're going to figure out how to
must.
eat on the road with no kitchen.
Yeah.
It's something I think that we touch on frequently, so it feels like we talk about it nonstop. But in the networking and so forth of like developing as a fighter, Combat Night is the perfect promotion to fight for, to do that, because you can go up and down the state, and like the guys were saying, you're going to have to if you become a pro, the likelihood of fighting at home is slim to none. And so traveling and figuring out what the weight cut is like on the road, not having all of your people there, friendly crowds that you're facing, you get the chance to experience that as an amateur if you will hit the road and go up and down the state and get those reps in like that. So
what I will say too is, so while Orlando is the place that travels the best, I would say, and Fort Lauderdale is the place where people will fight. They'll fight anybody. They'll fight their grandma. The best, in my opinion, the most loyal fighters who understand that fighting is a business and they're smart with it, and they understand that like it's important to build a rapport with a promotion that can offer you professional opportunities, is Jacksonville. And also the proof is in the pudding. We've sent 7 guys to the UFC from Jacksonville, and Kuba Kazuba, 2-time PFL European world champ, who fought exclusively with us, traveled all over the place to fight with us. Where in Fort Lauderdale, the guys don't understand the business side of it, in my opinion. They fight for janky, lanky promotion that are going to never offer them a professional opportunity, and they'll take it over an opportunity with us. Oh, it's for a belt. Yeah, you're fighting for a belt against a guy who's 2-4. Are you really winning a belt, or what's the deal there? Whenever you could be
There's
building,
too much machismo in the South. It's all about look how big my dick is.
Yeah, very much.
How big's your bank account, dog? How big's your brain?
How many athletes are you sending to make pro careers into the UFC? And it's just like you got to be smart. And it's some camps get it for sure. Some camps get it, but a lot of the Fort Lauderdale guys are not doing the business smart side of things.
It might be because there's not so many Combat Night shows for the pros in South Florida, right? In Sham's career, he made his first fight in Fort Lauderdale, and then the show second to last fight was in Fort 2 times in like 7 years.
Yeah,
so maybe it's that they don't realize because it's not here.
Yeah, I can see that as well. But also the reason why we're not there is because the lack of loyalty. And because we could put on a pro show and the guy's like, oh, but I'm fighting for a belt for Billy Bob's Backyard Brawl on this day. And it's like,
dude,
yeah,
he
you're
has really
fighting.
good barbecue though.
It's like, yeah, you're fighting in a crappy promotion, and that's not going to give you an opportunity as a pro, or is only going to be here for 1 or 2 events a year, and they're just using you. They're not even from Florida. They're not trying to build the Florida scene. They're trying to build their wallets, which, it's business. You got to make money, but you should be smart and fight for what's the best for your career. Anyways, yeah.
There's also a lot of guys that can't compete in the Combat Night level.
That is not a lie, man.
It's the premier league for sure in Florida. Like if you're just talking like locally, there's no one else who competes on like dates What do we do on average? 20, 24, 26?
Yeah, we only do 16, but 9 of those shows are actually 2 events in
Right.
one. On paper it's 2. So on paper we're doing like 24, 25 events a year.
There's only one other event in the state that does similar numbers, and it's horrible. It's like, hey, do you have a parking lot? Do you have a parking lot? Let's do it. One of my guys back booked himself on one of them, and I was like, dude, I don't even want to go to this, but I'll be in the area for other reasons, so I'll go. And dude, they had dudes in armor fight in the ring, metal shavings in the canvas. Like the referee was telling them to stall the main event. Mind you, it's already been over 12 hours. It's like 11:45 at night. They had us get there at like 1, and they're picking metal shavings out of the fucking canvas. And the promoter goes, "Stop wasting time. Just have them fight." And he's like, "There's metal." And he's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
What? The warm-up room was next to the dumpsters outside.
For the record too, Ben, and I have proof of this happening. That same promotion, a guy broke his arm. Like he fucked up his arm, overextended it, broke it, whatever. And that same promotion, they asked him for an insurance form, told him they have to give him $500 to get the form because they have a $500 deductible. And to ensure that they pay it, you have to give us $500 before we give you an insurance form.
That's not the person who's supposed to pay the insurance.
That's not, yeah. So that's the thing too, is like, you gotta be smart who you're fighting for, where you're fighting, because not every experience is the same. Just like not all black belts are created equally. Not all promotions are created equally. And the last thing you want to do is get hurt and they not have insurance, or hey, give us $500. And like, what are you gonna do? Like, what's the fighter gonna do?
Yeah, you're gonna sue a guy who has no money.
Yeah.
Promoter, like, there's very few promoters that are fucking making a good living out there.
Especially if they can't afford the insurance. Then yeah, you're probably barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah.
But anyways,
we will be
don't
back.
Too far in the weeds in that.
We need to have a podcast on that.
Yeah.
We'll be back in Fort Lauderdale on February 7th. Down at Sway Nightclub, and then we will be in Tallahassee on the 14th, and so we'll have another pre-show the night before that on the 6th, on that Friday night, where we'll talk about what's going on with that card. And somebody in the comments asked, where's the fight videos? You can see highlights right now on Instagram, posting all day, every day, of all the different stuff that went on, and the fights themselves will land on YouTube here in the coming week or so. So you can find the fight videos there. So I had a great time. There was a moment during the show when, trying to figure something out, and I just like adjusted my thought process and was like, oh, wait, I'm doing something I love doing with all my friends. I'm having a fantastic time, regardless of what's happening. So it was good to see you guys. Good to get the year started.
Ramsey, I wanted to add one thing. I had a really cool, I got a message on Instagram from a guy out of Orlando City, Muay Thai. He said, I always buy the pay-per-view, always a pay-per-view, no complaints. I love it. He said, but I finally came to my first event, and oh my God. He was like, the experience was unreal. So it's cool to see like someone who's never been to a live event. They've been to a lot of they bought a lot of pay-per-views, and they finally came to their first live event, and he was just like, man, it was crazy. It was insane. We had a nice little conversation about it. So guys, if you've only experienced pay-per-view, there is a reason why we call ourselves and our slogan, our motto, our mantra, the best in live mixed martial arts, because I firmly believe this. I've been to UFCs, Bellators, PFLs, you name it. It's a different experience at Combat Night, where you can buy a front row ticket and be 8 feet away from the action for $150. You can't do that anywhere. There's no promotion. Even the UFC, you can spend $10,000 on a front row ticket, and you're still 30 feet away from the cage. You're still behind media and all the crazy stuff. But like, at Combat Night, you can buy a $150 front row seat, and you are 8 feet, sometimes 6 feet from the action. In the Beecham, you might have been 5 feet from the action.
Yeah, in the beach, you could touch the fighter before they go up in the cage.
Splash zone.
I like the walk-in from the stairs is dope. Matt Barron, the main event, you saw he posted up on the center of the mezzanine. And he was like doing like a Sting Jeff Hardy up there.
Yes.
That was great. Not enough guys are taking advantage, but please don't hang yourself off of mezzanine.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool
Unless-
shit you could do up there, but don't hang off the side of it, please.
Yes.
I think we have a certain, you specifically, Mitchell, has a talent for like organizing and setting up venues and utilizing whatever they look like, utilizing them to like make good entry points and have like, make it real, like thematic and cinematic. So it's not necessarily the same any place that you go, but it's always like really on point.
Yeah, for me, I mean, people make fun of me, and I mean, Ben and Miles, you guys always a lot of times will help tear down and like be a part of the post part of it, but very few people get to see the beginning, me laying the foundation, and Ramsey can attest to this. I'll be out there moving seats like 1 inch, a whole row. I'll go around the whole venue and move everything by like 1 inch or 2 inches, and it's like people think I'm a madman and like I'm crazy because I care this much about like the smallest detail, but those details matter a lot to me. That the layout is the foundation of the event. So if the layout is wrong, it's not gonna be right. So the layout is the foundation. I put a lot of time and energy into the layout. Even up to like right before the fight starts, you'll see me adjusting stuff because it just doesn't feel right. So I think the layout is very important to be able to have that kind of energy and that atmosphere in the night of.
I'm gonna give Angel a shout out because when you showed up, and I think I was in there the whole time, so I don't think this happened without me being in there. But I don't think we had to move the cage when you showed up.
Nope, didn't touch it.
He asked me, he was like, "Are we centered?
Wait, do you guys normally
have
move the cage?
Well, we might move it 1 inch, we might move it a foot, we might move it like.
So once the cage is built and we're moving it, is the tactic a group bump or is it like 15 people on a short lift?
Sometimes it's 4 people or 8 people. 4 people might be me and Richard and Angel.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's 8 or 10 people, and we have to nudge it around.
Brian
But
said y'all moved it 5
Angel's
times.
credit, we didn't have to move it a centimeter this time. So,
and I'll be like, all right, guys, we got to go 3 inches this way.
Brian in the comments
Brian
said
said
we move it like 5 times. But if we moved it this time, it was at Angel's behest. It wasn't at Mitchell's. So you got Angel on the inches game now.
And I almost every venue almost I adjust the cage by something. And if I'm like 3 inches this way and we go 5 inches, I'm like 2 inches back this way, guys.
All right, gents. Well, it's great talking to you. We will be back here in a couple of weeks, and actually me and Mitchell will probably be in the studio this coming weekend. We'll get somebody in there and have a chat with for our Combat Crew podcast, so look for that. Until next time, we'll see you guys.
You guys.
Are you ready for combat night?